Welcome, welcome, welcome. 9 p.m. or 9:08, should I say? Sorry. But thank you for tuning in to another episode with your boys reporting eligible live, as you already know, every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. So welcoming you. We also kindly ask that you please like and subscribe to the platforms down below. That is at Dirty Bird Central, my guy Bro Talk, and my platform, 95 North Falcons Talk Show, both found exclusively on YouTube. And also, we get eyes, or Bro Talk gets the eyes through Twitter. Currently, my Twitter is down because Twitter is twittering for whatever reason. I guess I'm a rule breaker of some sort. I thought I was a nice guy. I mean, I don't know. Who the hell am I to say? But enough from me. Bro Talk, what's going on with you, man? Fill us in. How you been?
I've been good, been busy, real world,
Oh
and
yeah.
I got busy for a minute, and the Falcons were in the news once again. Dropped some breaking news, and
Yeah.
never a dull moment when it comes to this Falcons team, good, bad, or indifferent. But we got some pressers, we got some quotes we got to talk about. Coaches, players, teammates. New faces, right? The second wave of free agency, more prospect talk, lots to talk about tonight. So, real excited.
Love it, love it, love it. Where were you at the point that the news broke that Kaleb McGary retires for the Atlanta Falcons? And was it a shock to you? I'll tell you my tidbit real quick. I was a little bit, I was a little bit, taken back by it. I mean, I've seen and heard all the great things that Kaleb has done this offseason, working to get himself back. But then, we did get a little bit of assurance from Kevin Stefanski, saying we're hoping to get him back in some capacity, in some way. That's why I kind of started to think like, this might go a little bit left. But nonetheless, I was a little bit surprised. 31 years of age, started 90 plus games for the Falcons. We thank him for his service. As we all know, that was 2019 when he was drafted alongside Chris Lindstrom. We traded back into the first round, the back half of the first round, that is, with the Rams, to acquire him from the University of Washington. Great, I shouldn't say great career. It was a roller coaster of a career for Kaleb McGary. But nonetheless, man, what were your thoughts when you heard the news break about Kaleb McGary?
It's funny. I was really busy at work at that moment, and an hour had passed before I saw the news.
Mm.
And the first thing I saw was the signing of his replacement. So of course I tweet out, I'm like, oh, Ian's cooking. Look at this awesome depth. If Kaleb McGary's not ready, like we've got it all done. And then I start scrolling. I'm like, oh, that's why we signed him. Kaleb retired. So I had to quickly delete that tweet and then update it. And then, it was crazy because, we have a group chat going, and one of the guys in the group chat, well, you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I think you may have missed this part. He actually put in there that he was hearing rumblings of Kaleb retiring. And so the regime was getting prepared for that happening. Now, he didn't say it was going to happen this year. He talked about it like maybe after this year, right? Kaleb wanted to retire relatively young. He's a very outdoorsy guy.
Yeah.
Loves to camp, loves to hunt. His body is as intact as it's going to be, heading into the
I can't stand this kid. I really
there's always
can't.
something always stops me in my tracks.
Yeah,
But,
for real, man.
there was this wasn't something, I guess, that ultimately surprised them 100%. But once they, Jordan Schultz said it in a tweet that once they got wind that Kaleb was contemplating retirement, they started getting with Jawaan Taylor's camp at potentially bringing him in. And, I know fans are like, oh, he sucks, this, that, and the other. Hey, we'll talk about that later. But for Kaleb McGary, my biggest thing was, this was before I got like super in depth with prospect watching and all that. So I didn't know a whole lot about him when we drafted him, but I just knew we drafted him because we needed offensive line. And, to see him with Chris Lindstrom, see his, profile from what the experts were saying, how he called himself the boogeyman. He turned out to be Cam Jordan's boogeyman for a long time when they played each other. But at his peak, Kaleb McGary was probably top 5, maybe top 3 run blocking offensive tackles.
He was a mauler.
At his size, getting laterally, climbing to the second level. When him and Chris got into a hip to hip double team, it was poetry and motion. Like there was
It
no
was beautiful.
move. You know, of course, we all look back at the pass protection, right? That was something that we knew was a problem. It didn't necessarily get to the level that we wanted to, but hey, there were some high moments for Kaleb. And of course, we had some low moments, specifically this last year where he did miss his last year playing as an Atlanta Falcon.
Yeah, man, I was excited, especially when you say like poetry in motion. That Chris Lindstrom and Kaleb McGary reminded me of the days of was it Ryan Schrader, the nasty side.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
You
remember Tyson Clabo? You remember Tyson Clabo?
Oh hell yeah, dude! Wake Forest, great man.
Yeah.
Love him. I loved him, man. That's what he reminded me of as a right tackle for the Falcons. Yes, finished top 5 relatively per PFF in certain grades. Now we bring in Jawaan Taylor.
Listen before we start.
All right, let's listen.
Just know it's an upgrade from the right tackle we had starting last year. I'll just say that.
Who was that guy?
Number 71.
Yeah, that's another guy that doesn't deserve his name mentioned on this podcast. We already banned one guy. He's the other one. Yes, right. And playing alongside Chris Lindstrom, which Chris Lindstrom can elevate the dead, right? Playing alongside him. Hopefully that can muster something up in Jawaan Taylor, because he's mainly known more for his pass protection, which I get a little bit confused because in PFF he gets dragged. I think he allowed like 3 sacks, 20 pressures. He had 12 holding penalties. Jawaan Taylor did, and he played alongside some greats. For Kansas City, Trey Smith, if I'm being specific. And he's an all-world guard in his own right. Chris Lindstrom now here in Atlanta. Can Chris Lindstrom possibly elevate the play of a Jawaan Taylor, or is this where we're going to see the brilliance that Bill Callahan has to offer for our offensive line?
I think it's a mixture of both because, I want to say Chris Lindstrom at this point in his career is still better than Trey Smith. Okay. As an offensive guard, as a right guard specifically. Right guard. Mm-hmm. So I think the elevation can be there, and I think Callahan can help Jawaan where he lacks in technique. One of my biggest things, right, besides the false starts, right, everyone got their jokes out. He's a false start demon because you can't fault him to a degree because he was playing the rules, right? That half second or millisecond before the ball was snapped, as the ball was moving, and it was giving him a jump on the edges, and and then so they started cracking down on him, and so then he started getting the penalties, the majority of the time. But his stance really bothers me. It's a very, very narrow stance that I think hinders him in pass protection, because I think it translates to when he has his base and he kind of gets knocked around, which leads him to kind of hold to make sure his quarterback doesn't get drilled back there, which I can respect, right? You got to protect your quarterback even if it costs you 10 yards. But I think we'll see a little bit of both. I think we'll see Chris Lindstrom help him out in some aspects, and I see Bill Callahan, help him. Right? He's a 1-year starter. Right? He is not the long-term solution. He's got so many starts under his belt. Yep. He's played under Andy Reid. He played in Jacksonville for some time. He won a Super Bowl, I think 2 at least, with the Chiefs. He's been to multiple Super Bowls with him, right? Everyone likes to think, the what is it? The most recent history, right? It was him getting, kind of knocked around by Brandon Graham, Jalix Hunt, Josh Sweat. That whole offensive line got worked that day.
Cooked.
Right? And it just the way it worked, right? But he's provided good things, and I think it's going to be an upgrade from like I said, jokingly, but I'm also serious. It's going to be an upgrade from the guy who wore 71 here last year. Run blocking, I think it's going to be a downgrade from Kaleb McGary, but I mean, we didn't have him last year, so I guess you can call it an upgrade.
Yeah, well, you also have a phenomenon like Bijan who can make anybody's offensive line look great too. And 71 for us last year wasn't the nimblest of tackles playing on that right side. So credit has to go to Bijan too, and what he does best. And speaking of offensive line, you speak offensive line, and a guy like this here, bones just appears. bones. Lord, man. Great to see. The Falcons are obviously in the news news always, man, and it's always trending. But I'm going to read you a quick quote because there is some cap relief incoming, and I'm going to quote Kevin McKnight, who works for the Falcoholics. Shout out to the Falcoholics for all their brilliant work that they do, Dave Cho and company. He says, update Kaleb McGary's retirement. The Falcons should receive roughly $14 million in salary cap space in both of 2026, which is this year, and 2027. We'll see if Atlanta asks McGary to repay the signing bonus proration for 2026 and 2027. But as it is, it's only $3 million total. I doubt it. I also doubt it. But that is cap relief coming for Atlanta, $14 million. I mean, this is great for Ian if he wants to make a bold move. There's a couple free agents that are still on the market right now. He did heavily talk about the second wave of free agency, especially after the draft. You know, if we miss out on a guy in the draft that we honed in on, can we find a replacement? Let's say like an AJ Epinesa maybe, who's out there. That would be tremendous. We're gonna give you some names as we talk some prospects later on in the show. But right now, you know, Atlanta's sitting pretty decent with cap space going into the draft.
Yeah, so $14 million right now over the cap. They're not reporting Kaleb McGary's retirement yet until the transaction is official. So that'll double, right? We're at about $28 million. $5 million of it, I think, is going to go to Jawaan. So if you think about it, with Kaleb's retirement and signing of Jawaan, we saved about $8-9 million. I mean, that works out. A very much cheaper right tackle. Yeah, exactly. We are happy. Just pray for Tyler Algier if that's the guy blocking.
Oh man. Oh, it just seems like it, man. It seems like it. But hey, listen, you know, obviously our shows come on Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. And if you have that notification bell, you know when reporting eligible is on. But Thursday was the grand reveal of the jerseys.
We gotta talk about that,
brother. We gotta talk about it. And I'll let you know a little something. You know, come this time next week, reporting eligible will have a say in those color jerseys that we got, man. Amazing. I like them. They're amazing to me. I love them. I freaking love them. The reveal happened. We were back and forth texting. I was in the supermarket when it happened.
I was in a training.
Oh, yeah. That's right. And hey, man, listen, it was awesome. I like it, man. I like the colorway. I mean, I'm sure people, you know, obviously you can't please everybody, right? And you know, not being that as active on social media. I know one of the biggest gripes is no gray pants, but I'm sure that'll come in play, you know, somehow, some way. But as it stands, you know, the red, the home away black pants, the white shirt, the white jerseys, yo, they're fire, man. I love it. I love it, man.
Well, the report did say from that Zach guy that was, you know, on the money with the jerseys that the gray pants are coming. They are coming in the future. I think silver actually is the color.
Silver.
But they want to save it. They didn't want to release it all at once. So I think it's clean, man, right? We talked about the red jerseys being, you know, the time we've been most successful as a franchise. It's iconic to the Atlanta market.
Right.
You know, red resonates with the Georgia Bulldogs, who are right around there. So it just felt right. You know, I like the Atlanta you know, across. I thought I wanted a stripe on the sleeve, but I'm okay with the logo on the sleeve. The one that I really like, I really like the red is the white. And you know, I didn't pay too much attention to it, but then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh crap, we have red numbers on the white, not black. We've had, right? The numbers look crisper. You can actually tell that it's a number. You know, I think someone posted Chris Lindstrom side by side. It's no longer G3, it's actually 63 on his jersey.
Walker looks like it's 77, and that's 11. So.
Right. Now you can actually tell that it's going to be 11, right? There's going to be no confusion between 7 and 11. You know, to see Bijan in it in the red, you know, he's our franchise guy, and to see him front and center, that was awesome. But the one I really liked, like you said, was the black pants with the stripe going down.
Yeah,
that looked so clean. And I know a lot of fans were upset about the helmet. You know, I think I saw that they reduced the decal size so slightly. And instead of going from, they went from satin nickel face masks to true silver. So that way it's more clean and crisp. And I get it that everyone's going to have critiques, but overall, I think they did a great job. Is it the best uniform design? Probably not, but
No.
I think I mean, we can all agree it's an upgrade from what we have.
It's an upgrade, and I think Rod here says once you see the red and black, it begins to start looking the same. How about all red uniforms with black numbers, which is fire? It's a fire concept. I think over time they'll probably integrate these ideas because as the makers were sitting down to go ahead and start this new design, they even said it themselves. We see social media, we see what you guys are saying. We took a lot of things into consideration on the red. I think it just pays homage a lot to the old Falcon days, the Willie Andrew days. That red really popped then. It's
Yes.
popping now, man.
Yes.
So I'm digging it, man. I really am digging it, and just can't wait to just to put mines on and just show the world, man. Hey, listen, man, we're on this, man. This is dope. This is dope.
It was funny to see all the other fan bases, division rivals and just people trying to troll. Hey guys, it's up to you not to let these guys steal your joy, because guess what? They weren't in the spotlight, and they were jealous that they weren't in the spotlight because the NFL and all their insiders were highlighting the Falcons and their new uniforms. So
Yeah, Princely Human Yellen of the Carolina Panthers.
what did he say?
I think he had something negative to say, about the jerseys or something like that. Obviously, it's a rival talk, right?
He's too busy on social media instead of working on his pass rush moves and against the run. So I get it.
It's literally what you would say to a blonde, right? All the bleach went to your hair. He's one of the guys that bleached his hair or his dreads, right? I think it got to his head too. So who cares about him? They'll forever be the little brothers in the division. Don't care. But going on to the to the press conference today with Kevin Stefanski, the Falcons reported April 7th. It was good to see all the Falcons there, or what we think all the, whoever showed up. Obviously, all the details weren't released on who was there, who was not. Stefanski made that very clear. One in particular, obviously, James Pierce Jr., not in attendance at the beginning of the offseason program. Which is cool, and he did shed light on it. They are in constant communication with James and his camp, making sure everything is going kosher, I would only imagine. But it was a sight to see guys like Braylon Trice, Troy Anderson, Billy Bowman show up. I'm liking this, and I got to ask you specifically, these three guys that I mentioned, how big of a return would it be for each one of these guys to not even start on the PUP and be ready for the start of the season, man?
I think that would be huge if they don't start on the PUP. I do think Billy does, because it's an Achilles injury. I think the PUP is realistic, but for Braylon and Troy, that would be huge. If they start on the PUP, that's already bad signs. Like, oh, dude, like you just got to retire, get your body right. Like it's just not working out. But for both of them, like, I don't want to say that they're not going to be pivotal parts of the defense, but I'd like to see them rotate in. I want to see some production out of them. I want to see the Braylon Trice that we were excited for, that we have been promised for 2 years, and then we can't get the Troy Anderson that we saw. Like, oh, it's clicking, right? The guy that picked six Derek Carr and took it to the house, outran Chris Olave. Like, that's the guy I want to see on the field, or even if it's just special teams. I don't care. Just contribute to the team at this point.
That's funny. Chris Olave getting outran by Troy Anderson. This is the same Chris Olave they say is better than Drake London. Sorry.
What is Stephen A. Smith? What is Stephen A. Smith? Stay off the weed.
Say no to drugs, kids. First and foremost. But no, absolutely, man. So it's just a sight to see. Obviously, too, QB1 Penix walking in, no crutches, unassisted help. It's a great sign. It's a great sign, man. So, hey, listen, man. For me, these are arrows that are trending up. On the Billy Bowman front, I'm interested to see how this Falcons medical staff treats it, right? Do they go heavy on him? Do they try to get him ready for week 1, or do they learn from the holdbacks that Kirk Cousins had with the offense, right? It's the same injury, almost the same timeline, almost by a few weeks.
But think about this. The positions are different, right?
They are. Yeah.
Kirk was on his plant foot. So when he dropped back, the force was to plant that foot and drive force into his hips that would lead to his arm. For Billy, it's cutting, constant cutting. The planting, change of direction is much more. It's a lot faster and quicker than a quarterback's, because hey, he's covering a tight end, he's covering a slot receiver, or whoever's right there. So for him, the thing about it is you got to have that range of motion back. Because if that thing is tight and you try and plant and you overextend it again, it's done for. It's popping again. So breaking up all that scar tissue from the recovery, making sure your ankle is flexing in all directions, moving very well. Ease the kid in there. If he has to come back in week 8, so be it, right? The kid has so much football left ahead of him.
Absolutely.
Do not risk his entire career for one season. I beg you, please.
Absolutely, man. So some interesting things too that came from the presser today. Obviously, Kevin Stefanski talking about scheme on how X's and O's are fun, but they're going back to the fundamentals and learning those things. What'd you take from Kevin Stefanski and what he said? We'll talk about Kevin Stefanski, and then we'll jump on to some of the quotes that we heard from Bijan and also Jesse Bates III. So on the Kevin Stefanski front, man, you know, very, very enthusiastic, I would say, right? A guy that seems like he's ready, he's fiery, wasn't moved. I don't think he moved in the fashion that us fans wanted to. And I say us because obviously, you know, us being Falcon fans and stuff like that, you wanted that stamping of like, all right, damn, yo, we got the right coach, you know? Not necessarily a moving presser, just said a lot of the right things. But what'd you take from the Stefanski press conference?
Real quick, I wanted to answer Miss Lisa's question here.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I did see a picture of Tua there, so I don't think he's been highlighted, but I do believe Tua is there at the voluntary workouts.
Shout out to Miss Lisa Shepard.
Yes,
absolutely.
So as far as Kevin Stefanski, okay, it sounds a lot like the same, right? Something we've heard in the past, and it's normal, right? What more can a coach say that you may not have already heard in the past? The tidbits that I took away is the fundamentals, the basics, because X's and O's, like you said, are fun. They're great scheme, but the fundamentals will carry you through the games. And he's right, 100%. If you think about the Raheem Morris era, there were a lot of times we were not fundamentally sound. We were not doing our job, right? He talks
100%.
about holding a high standard, finding our identity and sticking to it. Something, and it sounds like he wants to figure that out now versus finding out who we are on the field. Like, and we can attest to what we saw. It was a different team every single week the last 2 years, right? Even the last 5 years. So if you have a coach, right, he's got to practice what he preaches at this point, right? It sounds all good, but if he can form that identity, get guys to hold each other accountable, bought in, and get those fundamentals, well, then the scheme of X's and O's will flow naturally and things will come to light, right? Who are the teams that are always in the playoffs? Who are the teams that are winning championships? It's those that are fundamentally sound, taking care of the fundamentals, limiting penalties, reaching your blocking assignment, running the route how you're supposed to, tackling properly, wrapping up, being in your zone, passing off a player, communicating well. Like, all those things are part of fundamentals. And if Stefanski with his coaching staff can get that to happen in year one, that's where we can say, okay, we're going to actually have success this coming year. Listen, it's okay. If that's what he wants, I'm a chocolate chip cookie dough kind of guy. But if he wants vanilla, and you know what, and the Falcons come away with the winning season, give the man his damn vanilla ice cream, okay?
That vanilla ice cream got him 2 AP Coach of the Year awards, so I'll take that.
Listen, man, just because he's a nerd, a football nerd up there, that doesn't give you all the rah-rah that Ra gave you.
Right.
Doesn't mean it won't translate, right? Everyone, and you know what? I'm going to go on a little rant here because all I see is Brown fans like talking about how Todd Monken is his players coach. Oh, yeah, the players are going to buy in. The players this, the players that. Berto, did a players coach work out for us?
No.
Okay. And you know what? I saw a quote today where they questioned Monken, who missed the coach's picture, right? We know someone that did that last year.
Sure.
Apparently, he missed it for a haircut.
Oh.
And then apparently he doesn't give a you-know-what because it's just a picture.
Yeah. What
Okay.
attitude is that sending?
Okay. Whoa.
Right.
Well, I'm not much better than the rest of the NFL coaches
Right.
that I don't have to take a picture. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, back on track. Stefanski, he's not that rah-rah kind of guy, but guess what? If he holds his guys accountable, if he has his team prepared, and it translates to wins, well, give me him every single day of the week.
Yeah. It was good. I don't want to sound like I'm contradicted, but I did enjoy his press conference. And again, man, shout out the GOAT right there, Damski. What is going on, brother, man? Glad to see Damski here, man. Busy man in the NFL world and his football personal life too. So shout out to Damski and everything he does for a hobby, man. But man, we got to touch on the Jesse Bates. Is he going to end as a Falcon? That's the question that was asked. He wants to retire a Falcon. Obviously, you don't want to jump from team to team, and going from Cincinnati to Atlanta. I don't think he wants a third destination. I think he's very much comfortable here in Atlanta, still only 28 years of age. I, for one, would love to see Jesse Bates III end his career as a Falcon, man. I really do. I think he is, quote unquote, the leader of this team. Bar none. And some of the big brother stuff that he said in the press conference today, talking to James Pierce Jr. and telling him that, hey, listen, you're one of our brothers. We're here with you every step of the way, just speaks volumes of what type of a leader, what type of a man he is, in that locker room, outside, outside in the community, and all the above, man. Just for me, sign him up, man. Give him what he deserves, man. There's no replacing the Jesse Bates right now on this Falcons defense, man. It really isn't.
We've talked about on the show multiple times what happens, and we've leaned because of the way Ian Cunningham is. Oh, he's probably going to walk, or he's probably going to be a draft day trade or something like that. But hearing him talk, man, it's hard to lose a voice like that. You already lost one voice in the offseason in Caden Ellis on the defense. And he talked about continuity and how big it was that Ulbrich returned, because now they can build off the first year. And if you think about it, besides Caden, I think I'm pretty sure the defense stayed the same,
relatively the same. Yeah.
Relatively the same. James Pierce Jr. right up in question. To hear that he personally reached out to James and talked to him. That's that big brother mentality. That's someone that you want to take under the wing, right? Jesse Bates, a pro's pro, a family man. He's married, he's have a kid. That's the type of guy you want to help guide this young man that is, at a crossroad. What does he do with his life? Does he get better, or does he go down this dark path? And typically when you have someone like a Jesse Bates, they typically veer to the right direction, the correct direction. So, man, hearing his quotes today, I'm like, Ian, this is you got 4 defensive studs still under rookie contracts to where you could pay Jesse. You just made another $9 million.
Yeah, baby. Talk about it.
And $14 million next year.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you could
amend that contract real quick.
and someone put it in my Twitter comments today, is like, Stefanski knows firsthand how valuable Jesse Bates is to a defense because he played him multiple times when he was in Cincinnati.
With Cincinnati.
So he knows. So, and I'm sure Jeff Ulbrich, I'm sure they're talking to him like, hey, what do you think? And it's gonna be so hard now. I'm like, yeah, sign him, extend him now.
Well, good to see you on this side. The grass is greener on this side. Damn it! I listen, man. I'm a Jesse Bates fan, and what do you say? Hold on, wait. This one, Raheem walks into basketball, Robin screen, but we gotta find the players that win. Arthur Smith quietly says, "Oh my God, the Apollo finals make sprinkles."
Oh my God,
brother!
I don't think I've laughed out loud to a comment like that before.
Gotta highlight that one. that one has to stay up, brother.
That's
crazy,
hilarious,
man.
Bro. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
But talking about Jesse Bates and what he means to this defense, a lot of people feel like he took a step back last year, but I don't think he did. I think he was just asked to do more out of the safety spot, right? Because they lean so heavily, or they trust heavily on the skill set of Xavier Watson, what he was able to do. I think Jesse Bates came back to life, and we started seeing the Jesse Bates when the defense had these offenses in 3rd and long where you were allowed to see the greatness that Jesse Bates is patrolling the back end of a defense. He was allowed to make the breaks that he would normally make, just reading the quarterback's eyes. That's the Jesse Bates that we're known for, and that's the Jesse Bates, goddammit, that we need here in Atlanta. And for me, yo, dude, sign me up. I'm with you, man. I was preaching this months ago. Like, yo, we need to re-sign Jesse Bates to a contract extension, man.
Look what our boy DMC sees.
Yes, sir. Says, feel like you got to have a locker room that holds folks accountable. Damn right. Bates still that guy, and transitioning to a new style with Watts becoming the old Bates, would love to keep him forever. Shit, man. I couldn't have said it better, man. But we all know that this is a business. And Ian was asked about having 5 draft picks going into this year's draft, where he said, hey, listen, this is the hand that we were dealt with, but also they're looking to manufacture on ways to get picks. Last year for me, it felt like it was a tale of 2 seasons for Jesse, where he showed a new ability, and it was able to show who he was, the player that's respected around the league, just that ball hawk that he is. Does Jesse Bates come up in conversation during the the draft?
Well, Ian said, like, when you got to listen to everyone, right? And he's not going to let someone lowball him. And
hell no.
That's the vibe I'm getting from Ian so far. I just think it's more of like a Kyle Pitts type thing. Like, that's the guy I think who may manufacture multiple picks in the draft, whether it's this year or next. Who else on the defense? Is there anyone on the defense? I don't know. I don't know that there is anyone on the defense. Maybe a Mike Hughes trade, someone that we're not expecting could get traded. Matthew Bergeron. I don't know. I'm just throwing names out there. I have no, I have no insider information. This is just me speculating, but it could also be just, hey, trading down. But hey, I'm going to trade down 5 spots. Give me a pick in day 3. Let's go.
Gotcha.
And things like that. So maybe no one gets traded, right? And then we just accumulate picks by just trading down. We saw a lot of trading down last year from the Texans and the Raiders. Help them add picks last year in the draft, help them add picks this year. I think the Texans have 10, and then the Raiders have 11 picks this season.
Yeah.
So
it could be a very heavy trading days, day 2 for the Falcons, 2nd round, 3rd round, because there's going to be a lot of guys that may fall for whatever reasons, right? It might be crazy, because who would ever thought that Xavier Watts was going to drop into the back end of the 3rd round?
Right.
Oh, close to the 4th round. Like, who the hell would have thought that, right? And he did, and we were just fortunate enough to nab him in the fashion that we did. Anything is possible in this draft. It really is. Moving on to the Bijan comments, right? Bijan was asked about, a possible contract extension. And I don't think that we touched on this last week, but stop me if I did, because Adam Schefter talked about this on his podcast.
Yeah, we talked about
it. All right, we did talk about it. Okay. When he was asked, he's like, listen, I'm just focused on the season, and, I'll let my reps and agents, take care of that for what it's worth, right? Obviously, that's the cliche thing for any player to say, because their sole focus is on providing for the team, being the best asset that you possibly can. What I have to go back to it, man. What does a contract extension for Bijan look? Right now, like we mentioned, I think Saquon is the top paid running back in the league, $20.6 million, if I'm not mistaken, annually. Does Bijan break 23, 24? Are we setting the bar with that?
I don't think 23 or 24 is necessarily the number. I could see like a 22 and a half. But that's the race that they're playing against Jahmyr Gibbs and possibly Devon Achane, right? Yeah. Devon Achane did not report to voluntary workouts, right? Now they are voluntary, but that's starting to send a message like, hey, you need to pay me my money. You didn't trade me. You need to pay me my money. So I know Ian, and this is probably why Drake London necessarily hasn't gotten extended. They've got to prioritize Bijan to make sure that number stays relatively low. So if they can get it done, I could see a cool 22.5 million, but then it goes to the guaranteed money. How much guaranteed money is it going to take? And to be honest with you, the way Bijan talks about CMC and his training and all this and how he's recovered, right? CMC's dealt with injury, so he's learned how to recover his body, what to do for his body to make sure that it stays in its best shape possible. And if Bijan's already getting that information from a vet like CMC, I mean, that's good news. And I think we could see, a lot of people are scared to pay running backs because the last time top running backs were paid, if you remember, first it was Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
And then it was Ezekiel Elliott, and both of them plummeted off of it. Todd Gurley, he had that lingering knee issue, and it just caught up with him. The Rams just used and abused him to where he just couldn't be who he once was. And Zeke, maybe too many, these and too much food, too much Dallas nightlife. I don't know. He just kind of fell off. So that's why running backs has just been like, it's kind of like, do we pay a running back? But I think their value is starting to climb. But it's up to Ian to beat out Brad Holmes and the Lions to pay Bijan.
Yeah, very valid point, man. Very, very valid point. So, Bro Talk, man. Reporting eligible started this last week, bringing prospects to the table. Some players, some names that, in rounds 2, 3, 4, who knows? These are just prospects overall that can make a difference for the Falcons. As it stands right now, we only have 5 at 48. Obviously, we don't know if we're gonna stay there. Chances are we may not. We might trade down. That'll reveal itself in a few weeks, right? But right now, as it stands at 48, is there a player in your mind or that you've seen doing your film study that you like for the Falcons?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of hit home after the retirement announcement today. And the 1-year stopgap type player, someone in our group chat that's been clamoring for him. I was late to the party. I've watched the film. I got to read the beast on him. Shout out to our compadre in the group chat. It's Blake Miller, offensive tackle out of Clemson. Yes. He's getting a lot of first round hype from the media, but that's not what Brugler said in the Beast. I think he has him as like in the 40s as his, rank as far as prospect goes. But something cool that I read about Blake Miller, he's been a 4-year starter. He was a 4-year starter in high school, freshman on varsity. Okay. Focused on the offense since his sophomore year. And then at Clemson, he won the right tackle spot as a freshman, true freshman. Okay. He's from Ohio. His family grew up Ohio State fans. They all thought he was going to go there. He had an offer from there, but he fell in love with the program that Dabo Swinney had, right? And you guys can make fun of Clemson all you want, but that shows conviction to me. Like, he stuck there all 4 years. What's the era we're in now? The NIL era, the transfers, transfer here, transfer there. He was committed, made a commitment to Clemson. He stayed there. They said he missed 1 practice in his entire 4-year collegiate career, never missed a game. Okay. Has a fear. This is from Brugler's quotes, has a fear of letting down his teammates and coaches. Natural leader. Okay. Then when you put on the tape, he's a pass pro demon. Okay. Quickest drop step of any offensive tackle prospect, gets vertical, gets 45 very quick, cuts off the pass, does really good job mirroring. Now, he does have flaws that Callahan would have to fix. And, I thought these, and then I read Brugler's assessment. I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy. With offensive linemen, especially tackles, you want to look at where they're bending. Are they hinging at the waist or are they hinging at the knees, right? The good, the best, and the Hall of Fame offensive tackles hinge at the knees with very minimal waist. Miller has he's got a tall frame, so he tends to lean and hinge at the waist, which catches him, leaning forward. Tackles have a counter move. So he has some weaknesses that need to be improved on. So if he doesn't, even with that, I think he could still compete with Jawaan Taylor to be the starting offensive tackle on the right side.
On the right side, yeah.
Yes, he is not a swing tackle by any means. He has been specifically the right tackle, so he has zero experience on the left side. And for people that think it's easy to switch from the right to the left, it is not. It is a completely different animal. So he would be specifically the right tackle. So he's someone that I've kind of really grown on, and I really think he's going to be there. And I just don't see the first round hype based off the skill players, the defensive players, and all that. I could see him roll into the 48 slot. And if he's there and some of the other offensive tackles are gone, he is someone I'd be like, yes, go get your future right tackle because
Absolutely.
he screams a 14-year starter for me at the right tackle spot.
We can use another Jake Matthews on the right side if you're talking 14-year starter. Jake's been here forever.
He's got longer arms than Matthews too. Remember, Matthews' thing is that's our nose tackle. Berto's our nose tackle. You want to talk about the leverage battle? He won already.
You know, I'm a one technique until the day I die, brother. That's crazy. The big citrus right here, man. No, all good and fun. Shout out One Time for the Fan in the chat, man. One Time for the Fan, as we all know, another great Falcon content creating group. Shout out to Kerry T. Will and Jack Spade himself, the golf aficionado over at One Time for the Fan, man. Shout them out, man, for sure, man. So yeah, it leads me to wonder, right? So offensive tackle obviously is going to be a hot and heavy theme at 48. I have it in the thumbnail. Travis Burke out of Memphis, 6'9", 330 pounds. You know, he's a slim kid, great punch. He struggles with anchoring right now from what I've seen so far. Right. And obviously signing Jawaan Taylor. This is a kid that you can redshirt, but is he worth the pick at 40? This is my fear where the need that obviously we do need doesn't match the prospect itself. Would we overdraft a player because there's such a need for it? That's the scary part for me when it comes to Memphis's right tackle, Burke, right? He has a visit coming up with the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken, sometime this week.
He
already did. Okay, so he already did. So I'm sure that the Falcons got an extensive look. I mean, I don't know how long, the whisperings were going around about Kaleb McGary, obviously. But, did they get any extensive look at him? Did they put him through some individual drills? We won't know, but that would be my fear. But Travis Burke, I think, would be a good fit for the Falcons right now. I don't think that you rely on him like the kid out of Clemson to come in and compete. I think you redshirt him and you let Jawaan, man that position down until Travis Burke is ready to play.
Yeah. Burke to me is, he's a developmental guy. He's worthy of, as high as a 4th rounder or our 6th round pick if he's there. He's that type of player. Good, strong hands. He's very, very strong in the run game. He has that going for him. So if you want to bring him in a 6 offensive lineman package, hey, do it in those run game plans. But he needs some serious work in the pass protection department. So if you want to, if the offensive tackles are gone at 48, don't reach. Go get you a skill player. Go get you a defensive player that you feel more confident in if you can't trade back. But Burke, if he was selected in the 4th or the 6th round, or if we end up winding up with a 5th round pick, like on a draft day trade, hey, I'm on board there, and I see the vision that Stefanski and the coaching staff would want.
Yeah, this is a big kid, man. 6'9", man.
He's huge.
He's huge, man. Huge. Pause. Justin Swisher here with a question. Berto, who's your Christian Gonzalez in this year's draft? Appreciate the question. I would say Chris Johnson out of San Diego State would be that guy for me.
Mm-hmm. He's climbing up boards.
He is fast.
Clean technique, someone that could sneak into that end of the 1st round, potentially, mid 1st round. But if he's the type of player, again, if the offensive tackles are gone and he's there, you go and take him because he would be an upgrade at the cornerback 2 position, in my opinion. He would at least compete. And I think he would beat out Mike Hughes at that point. But who else you got, Berto?
Man, there's a lot of talk, and it's kind of the foot was taken off the pedal. Now it's ramping back up. Is it going to be possible for this player out of Pittsburgh to be there at 48? Probably not, but weirder things have happened. I just mentioned Xavier Watts dropping, and there seems to be like a rush to find the next Nick Umenyiori from the Seahawks. Kyle Lewis, for me, man, listed at 6'1", 220 pounds. He's listed as a linebacker, right? And if we're talking about Jesse Bates possibly departing from Atlanta at some point, I think that's your replacement right there. This is a kid that has sideline to sideline speed. Fluidity is crazy. A very instinctual linebacker. I'm going to call him linebacker, but I think under Ulbricht's scheme, he would fit more as a safety. You can allow Xavier to be the free. You can put Kyle in as the box safety or the strong safety because it's interchangeable for him. I think he can play both spots, but I think he'd have better success as a strong. This is a kid that can cover, and obviously strong safety within the scheme for Atlanta does ask you to go ahead and play sticky coverage on tight ends. I think Kyle can do that could do that for us for the Falcons. So for me, if he's there at 48, I wouldn't mind. And that depends on how the board falls, man. That's the only thing. We don't know what the board's going to look like, how it's going to fall, if teams are going to reach for their players. But for me, Kyle Lewis, man, he's a clean prospect to me, man. I would love him in a Falcons uniform, bro.
I always hesitate on a guy that you're kind of like, how do people view him? Is he a linebacker? Is he a safety? If he's a safety, I've watched him drop in coverage. Very fluid.
Very fluid.
Moves like a defensive back. But he hits you like a linebacker. So I'm intrigued by the possibility there. My only thing is like he's 6'1", right? What does Ulbrich want in his linebackers? He wants 6'3", 6'4". He wants big guys.
Avatars, man.
Yeah. So if you wanted like quote unquote a 3 safety look, yeah, Kyle Lewis. Put him on the field. Put him on the field with Jesse and Xavier and see what happens. So, yeah, I'm totally on board with that one. I got someone for you, potentially a 4th-round selection, maybe 3rd round, depending on the hype that's kind of picked up. Some of the other Falcon creators are on board with this too. The kid out of UConn, wide receiver, Skyler Bell.
Oh man, I love it.
5'11", just under 6 foot,
baby. Yeah.
Very, very crisp route running, sets up defensive backs to create separation. Something that was told was a problem of his was keying off what his route looked like. He took that criticism and he applied it to his senior season. And you just saw him create windows of just openings because of his route running ability. You also saw the yak ability.
Yes.
He when he has the ball in his hands, he gets you yards and potentially to the house. I can't remember what game I was watching. They played Boston College. I was watching his tape, and it was towards the end of the game. The kid had like 10 or 11 catches at this point. And probably 4 or 5 were screens, right? A lot of bubble screens in college, but he took one of those screens, probably 60 yards to the house. That's the type
That's
of
impressive.
He broke a tackle and then he took it up the sideline and he was gone. He's got 4.4 speed. He had an issue early on in his collegiate career with drops. An NFL scout, because I read the beast on him too, an NFL scout said he hit the jug machines and he hit it hard and he fixed that problem because he saw that it was a problem himself. The one criticism that I saw from the beast, and I agree based off what I saw, is he tends to coast in some of his routes, meaning he's not always running full speed.
Full speed, yeah.
Sometimes, but you can coach that, right? That's a coaching thing. Like, hey, you need to pick it up, right? And I also read that he had an opportunity to transfer to Michigan his senior year for some NIL money, but he chose to stay at UConn. That's where he had the 101 receptions, over 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns, a very, very productive season at UConn. He is someone that I'm looking at late day 2, early day 3 to add. Brugler does say that he views him more of as like a slot guy only, which, hey,
that's fine.
That's perfectly okay.
That's perfect. Let me ask you a question. Would you rather Skyler or Casey Concepcion out of Texas A&M?
Casey Concepcion.
You really?
Yes, Skyler Bell to me is a little bit of a watered down version of Casey. Casey, I think, is a better route runner. He's faster and he played special teams. Skyler Bell did not play special teams in college, so those slight differences puts Casey above
a little bit above. I got you because I saw a lot of the comparisons to it, and yeah, man, I'm a fan of Skyler Bell. That's a speed. Man.
And I just remembered KC is Boricua, baby.
Yeah, we got now. There we go. Yeah, man, sign me up. KC, #1 wide receiver on the goddamn list.
He's someone, if he falls at 48, he's gotten 1st-round buzz, but if he's there at 48 because Omar Cooper Jr. and other guys get the hype and he falls, hey, man, we'll gladly take him.
Absolutely. Got to show the offense some love too, man. And we're going to continue the trend of the offensive love, man. And this is a kid that I told you about a few weeks ago, and I don't mean to say you because, I don't mean that in any way or nothing like that, but I see a lot of people, taking credit for bringing up players, and I know my ball too, and I have documented stuff on other platforms. And Joe Royce, the tight end out of
Oh,
Cincinnati,
tell me about him because I haven't seen his stuff. So tell me about him.
I like him. I like him a lot. Okay, 6'5", 250 pounds, has decent speed, ran a 4.65. All right, sure. I think he could do some damage in Stefanski's scheme of things. Stefanski likes to target the middle of the field, and this is a kid that is not afraid to go and get the ball. This kid has a good catch radius, given the fact that he is 6'5". Let's see. He breaks in and out clean out of his breaks. To me, this is your red zone machine right here. This is your red zone target. This is what you wish you would have had, Arthur Smith and all the other offensive coordinators, Zach Robinson, utilize Kyle Pitts because this kid can go up and grab it. He's a mismatch. He's physical. He uses his body like he is a basketball player. He boxes you out. The only thing that I have a gripe about is how he holds his blocks in the run game. That's where I see the struggle. Or where he's going to struggle at the NFL level. And I'm sure that Kyle Kroger can, fix that up. I see a little bit of Austin Hooper, who's on the roster with us right now. And Hoop, for us, when he first came out of Stanford, I like Austin Hooper a lot, man. So I think this could be a little twitchier, better version of an Austin Hooper. But if the Falcons elect to not re-sign Kyle Pitts, I think this could be a replacement down the line. This is a kid that you can obviously bring in. You won't need to start him right away. But if you can get some production out of him, in his first year in 3 tight end sets, 12, 13 personnel, whatever, then you have something here. That way now in 12 personnel looks, you might get more looks going his way than you anticipated. Sign me up.
I like what I'm hearing, and I wish I had more of an opinion. I haven't gotten a chance to watch his stuff, so I'm going to take your word for it. What round could you see? Like, where would you be okay taking someone like that?
Third round.
Wow.
Third round, fourth round. I mean, there's a lot of other tight ends that are ranked ahead of him. Obviously, Kenyon Sadiq, the kid out of Oregon, right? This kid's a physical specimen. There's a kid out of Michigan too that they're raving about. I haven't looked at too much about him, but this Joe kid seems to fall. He seems to be falling down the line, and I like his tape. I like his tape. I like what I've seen so far, man. So sign me up, man. If he's there in the third, fuck it, go get him. Go get him, because you got to start thinking about the future.
Absolutely. So I got a guy for you, and I've talked to you about him. I read The Beast on him. I didn't know that The Beast would have him because he's kind of a guy that's not really talked about a lot. Doesn't really get the media hype. I view him as a 6th or 7th round pick guy, maybe an undrafted free agent.
Jeez.
He was a walk-on at Wisconsin, later transferred to Indiana, where he won himself a nice national championship, and he was a pivotal part of that offense. I'm talking about technically tight end Riley Nowakowski.
Oh,
the dreadlock demon, baby.
Cool.
Listen,
cool.
The way I view him is as an H-back or a fullback, right? I view him as that because when you watch him at Indiana, that's where his career really took off. He started off as a linebacker at Wisconsin before moving over to the offensive side of the ball. He's only 6'2", 250, so he's not the biggest guys, right? But his run blocking is phenomenal. Once he latches on, he drives and he can move people. The way I view it is running that little ISO insert block with Bijan running behind him and him moving whatever linebacker or using him to trap a defensive tackle and moving them out of the way, running these things like that will translate in the play action game, right? I think of Kyle Juszczyk, same build, same size, right? Kyle Juszczyk gets some of the passing game, but he's that unsung hero, right? They freaking cut him in San Fran and said, hold up, we need this guy on our offense, and re-signed him back to the 49ers. That's the level of impact that I think Nowakowski can provide. But because of his size, because of his lack of playing time in his collegiate career, his lack of, involvement in a passing game, I think that's going to cause him to fall, and that's okay. Like I don't need him to get 50 plus receptions. I need this guy who he shows he's willing to just lead the way and create a valley for Bijan to take it to the house. Gotta draft some unsung heroes sometimes, or if he's an undrafted guy, he plays what Brugler says in The Beast. He plays everything like a chip on his shoulder. He takes the walk-on mentality. I was a walk-on. I need to prove myself. So he takes that into every single snap. That's included if he's running his pass routes, right? It doesn't matter if he's wide open or if he's being triple covered. Per Brugler's quote, he's running the route the same way as high intensity and high effort as possible. The only thing is right, his he's not going to shake you on a route, right? You got to kind of disguise his route. Think like, if I had to draw it up, right? You have, let's say, guys, for those of you that know Madden, right? An H-back dive, right? It's a very common play.
Yep.
Right? You have the fullback leading the way with the running back. Well, think play action H-back dive with an H sail, which means he's still running like he's going to lead block, and then he's going to peel off to the sideline and then go up the sideline. Well, everybody thinks run, then they back up for play action. Everybody forgets about the fullback. There he is along the sideline by himself. Those are the type of things where I think he can really make an impact in the passing game. Oh,
sounds like a Levine Toyololo special.
That's exactly the play I was talking about. And to end our
what do you
show,
got?
Homemade tortillas with some grilled chicken, grilled vegetables, avocado, and some freshly cut limes.
Oh my God, freshly cut limes.
Oh, I think there's some melted cheese, melted mozz underneath. A lucky man, guys.
Very lucky. Very, very lucky.
What?
Homemade protein tortillas.
Homemade protein tortillas. There's protein in this thing, guys.
Unflippin' believable. What time is it on your neck of the woods over there?
9:04. It's dinner time. That's what time it is.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock over here. The wife's snoring. I just can't. I can't have everything my way. Oh, man, I love it, man. I love it. Great women for real, man. We definitely are lucky, man. So we'll end the show on this last prospect here. He comes out of Michigan, Derek Moore. 6'3", 260 pound. I like him, man. He's a solid edge guy. They got him listed as a defensive end, and really with so much uncertainty with Braylon Trice, right? And obviously the 1-year deals that we have with Ojulari and and Samson Ebukam, right? Again, this is futuristic. You got to think ahead, right? This kid could be an excellent rotational piece, or even a starter opposite side, James Pierce Jr., depending on how, Jalen Walker is used, because that's the biggest thing, right? How is Jalen Walker going to be? I'm going to get you, Berto. I gotta show her that one. I exposed. Sorry.
She's going to be mad at you.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Hey, I had ribeye steaks today. I can't complain, man. So it's all good. Oh, sorry. But yeah, man. Great motor, uses his leverage very well. He has some good moves to his repertoire, but he's mainly a bull rush type guy. Does get lost sometimes in the run game. And obviously these are things that you can work on, right? He knows his lane, he knows the assignment. Get to the quarterback, and that's exactly what he does. Will he be there in the 3rd round? Maybe not. Who knows, right? Weirder things have happened before. Looking at this kid, I see a lot of Derek Hall from the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
Yeah, just a high motor kid, and I've seen that. I've come across some articles, also making that comparison. Cliff Abraham, when you look at the tape, I was like, yeah, damn, man, yeah, you could definitely agree with what they say. But yeah, for me, why not, man? Why not? Absolutely, why not, man? So for me, Derek Moore, if he's there in the 3rd round, weirdly enough, sign me up. Why not?
Hell yeah, man.
Any more prospects? Uh-oh. Any chance that they do Ulbrich a favor and draft Jacob Rodriguez? We would have
Bro,
What
you don't
the
know.
happiest co-host in the world.
You do not understand how fast I will order that red jersey. One for me and my wife.
Yeah. Oh man, hell yeah, brother. Yeah, man. No, he would be a tremendous get, man.
But okay, so he fits stylistically in the coverage aspect. He's just undersized for what Ulbrich wants. But I mean, how tall was Caden? Do you remember?
6'3", I think.
Okay, Rodriguez, I think, is only 6'2", so not that much smaller. So we'll
Next show.
dude, y'all are killing it with the comments tonight.
I love it, man.
Y'all are killing
Hey,
it
man,
with the
I don't give a
comments.
shit, man. I'm gonna definitely show him. Like, look, look at this. I'm malnourished over here at 10 o'clock at night.
He's gonna say, you know what? That the Dan Mans has a good idea.
Yeah, bam, cocotazo. That's what we say in Puerto Rico.
Cocotazo.
Cocotazo.
We say unas. How do we say it? I think now. Cocotazo. We just say te doy unas buenas, right? That's all we say.
Hey, there you go. That counts too. Whatever it is, it's gonna hurt. So yeah, man. Awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Well, folks, man, that is going to conclude another edition of Reporting Eligible. We thank you so very much for tuning in, all 230 eyes, man. We kindly ask that you please like and subscribe as you guys are leaving. Wait, do we have? Oh yeah, no, that's this one over here. But yo, Bro Talk, let them know where they can find you, my brother.
Guys, as always, short form content. I was sick for a little bit, but we're back on that train, posting daily. Anywhere you get your short form content, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or TikTok, it's at Dirty Bird Central, all the same. Same thing for long form content on YouTube at Dirty Bird Central. Going to be dropping my final mock before we do our mock.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'll do a first round mock as well for all 32 teams. Well, not everyone has a first round pick, but for the first 32 picks of the first round. But and then as always on Twitter at BK2 it's the name. If I could do the squared symbol, that's what I was going for. That's why it's squared. But Twitter didn't let me do that. But anyway,
Twitter doesn't let you do anything, man.
Oh yeah, you got beef with them right now.
I got beef with everybody, I guess. Jesus Christ. I'm not controversial. Let me just put that out there. But of course, oh man, I'm your boy Bird, host of the 95 North Falcons Talk Show, and your host for Reporting Eligible. Like I mentioned, man, coming to you live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. You can also find me on Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report every day, Monday through Friday, dropping daily content. Have some good ones coming out. I got the Bijan contract extension talk tomorrow. And, you know, the Jalen Walker comments from a few weeks back. I got a piece coming out on that, man. Definitely appreciate you, man. Appreciate you always supporting myself and Bro Talk on this platform. But again, man, the names are there. Please go to YouTube. It's free. Subscribe to at Dirty Bird Central, 95 North Falcons Talk Show. We greatly appreciate it. Until next Wednesday. As a matter of fact, we're going to give you the spoiler. I'll give you the spoiler. I'm going to give my co-host the spoiler. We're doing the mock draft next week because we're getting close. We're getting very close to draft night. And, you know, you can tune in here. We'll be live covering the NFL draft, man. Round 2. We'll decide if we're going to do the first round or not. Maybe we'll just do round 2. But we'll play it by ear. We'll see. We'll definitely talk about it and let y'all know so that way we can have all eyes on the brand. But until then, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll give you your Wednesday evening back. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.